Alright, welcome back to Let's Play Sengoku Basara. So it may look like, because we're right in the middle here, that we have to fight a large number of battles to complete this campaign, but really I think it'll be about average, it won't be excessively more. So now we're going to move on to fight Mori Motonari here on the other side of the inland sea of Seto. We're going to fight him at Aki. And he is the other sea rival there, and I guess we're going to be fighting both of them in this Let's Play. That's going to be great. Or at least in this one campaign there. Alright, so the new weapon we have is already level 99, which is great. And it gives Nohime a much appreciated boost in defense, which he's going to need. So that's one thing we were lacking by not having a good weapon. Look at this thing. It's like it looks like a rotary grenade launcher, but it's a pistol or a shotgun or whatever the heck it is. It's pretty great. Her other weapons include, there was a double-barrel shotgun there that she dual wields in both hands for some reason, and also has unlimited ammo and never has to be reloaded, which is pretty nice. We're going to swap to a different secondary attack here that I'm going to be showing off for this level. And I think I may have mentioned in the last video, I thought I had already demonstrated this fight before, but I looked back at the previous videos and I'm like, hang on, I didn't fight him as Masamune or Yukimura. I've not done this fight yet, so here we go. I've done this fight so many times during my test runs of pretty much every character that I guess I just assumed that. I also did this one a lot in the original Devil Kings as well. I just assumed that I had already demonstrated it, but I guess I hadn't. So this is a really interesting fight in the sense that you basically have a completely open, non-linear map here. It's a pretty small map, all things considered, but it's pretty much open for the most part. There's a barricade in the middle there, a giant wooden wall that you have to, you can break down the doors to it by defeating the enemies at the checkpoints, the captain units that are there, and apparently you have to defeat at least 5 captain units and their squads in order to get Mori to appear. And every time we defeat one, as you can see, the walls fall down, the green blocks on the map there, and we get a slight advantage. So this is the new secondary attack here. It's a freaking Sengoku-era minigun. And if that's not the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen in your life, I don't know what is. Although, I don't think much can beat Mecha Samurai in the form of Hanatadakatsu. So, but this is one of the other completely ridiculous things about this game and about this franchise. But, unfortunately, it's not really all that good. It does allow us to air juggle enemies. And if we're standing in one place, we can kind of use it to defend a certain area from a stationary position as enemies kind of just funnel in front of us. Obviously, they have no defense against guns, of course, but and as you can see, it is pretty effective, but the problem is we get locked in place and we can easily get comboed if we get hit because we're trying to sweep our camera back and forth. It can end up having us face the wrong way, and because what you actually have to do is kind of spam the triangle button to get it to work, because if you just tap it once, she'll stop shooting right away, so you have to hit it several times to be able to get that chain going like that. So what you may do is you may get hit and get knocked off center there, be facing the wrong way, and because you're already mashing the triangle button, you'll start shooting again in a different direction and then get comboed. So it can be bad for that reason, but I figured I'd demonstrate it at least, and we can really mess up Mori and his army a little bit with this. Now, Mori is usually considered, as far as the anime is concerned, and most of the games as well, he's usually considered the bad guy. Motochika, despite the fact that he is a pirate, is usually considered the good guy, and usually ends up allying with whoever is trying to defeat the Devil King in question there. And a lot of times, one thing I really like about the later Basara games, like 3 and 4, is if someone is defeated, a lot of times they will join, and they will join the army of, like, if an AI defeats another AI, you will still have that character join up with that person's army. So you may have, Mori get taken out by Mitsunari or something like that, and then you'll have them on the same faction, which is pretty cool. Rarely does it tie into... I mean, sometimes it ties into gameplay depending on the map, but yeah, if you don't get a chance to play that stage, you may still be able to fight that character. Anyway, yeah, in Basara 2, in the anime at least, Mori is definitely a bad guy, and he's actually trying, though Mori has his own agenda, so he usually tries to backstab the Devil King in question, much to the same vein as Akashi Mitsuhide, but not quite as blatantly obvious. Yeah, that's a demonstration there of the other way you can use her first secondary attack, which I think is favorable to the blunderbuss there. It's just, the blunderbuss is just over too fast and doesn't deal with enough damage. So, as you can see, there are still quite a few commander units on the map. The ones that are flashing are the ones that are in range of your guys here. But we only need to defeat one more to get Mori to spawn. And once we do, he will spawn in a lot more enemies with him when he does. So we can either choose to kind of thin out the map a little bit and make the fight more favorable for us, or we can just go straight for Mori and end this right away. This map is usually over pretty fast. And I went the route that I did there to try to get some more of my guys to spawn in on the outskirts of the map, and also to thin those guys out over there so I don't have to go all the way out of my way to get them later. And now the last guys that I have to kill are all kind of concentrated in one area. Unfortunately, that does make this area really dangerous. You got those boulder throwing enemies, and you got these environmental hazards in the form of these spinning wooden pillar things. Alright, so this is Mori Motonari. He looks like a complete clown, and he has what looks like a mop for a weapon. I don't know why that is. He has a much more fitting weapon in the later games. He has a spinning, like a circular sword, kind of like that one character from Soul Calibur. You guys know what I'm talking about. And he's constantly talking about how much he worships the sun god and all this other stuff, and you know, by the power of the sun, this and that, and it's very fitting. It's much more fitting for his aesthetic that he would behave in that way. And he has this ridiculously pointy hat that we will address again later in the series. But honestly, he's not all that dangerous to fight. He rarely gets a good hit in on us. His attacks are very slow, and he's just not all that intimidating, really. Yeah, we can't play as him or Motochika. We can't play as either of these characters in the first game. Otherwise, I would, because they're both great characters. But we will definitely play as them early on in Basara 2 once we get around to that. Motochika especially is borderline overpowered in Basara 2 because he has some just really great secondary attacks. Yeah, this is getting kind of ugly though. There's a lot of enemies grouping in with Mori and cornering me here, although it does give me a chance to get some health drops if I need them, and my Basara gauge is definitely filling up fast, and all the enemies are kind of getting trapped in that too. Of course, I'm losing health faster than I can gain it, unfortunately, but, you know, that is the, we've chosen to play as Nohime, so this is what we get. Trying to find just a little more health before I go after him again. That should deal some good damage. Yeah, that's better. Alright, we have all the health I think we need. And this fight would be a lot easier if I had some room if I had just room just to fight with me and Mori and not a lot of enemies around, which is looking like that's becoming the case now. Like, we've thinned out most of the enemies, but I could try to use the machine gun against him, or the minigun rather. As you can see, it's doing a pretty good job of air juggling him, and it deals some okay damage. But he can't really dodge it at all, so it's really unfair. Yeah, I do not feel bad for this at all. Eventually, my guys are going to get killed, though. These guys are pretty persistent with their flags and their spears. Yeah, if a character does go into a guard animation, they can block you for the most part, but yeah, we've got him pretty much right here. Like, he's taking way too much damage, and we've got a good advantage against him now. He doesn't have a lot of attacks that I'm worried about, unlike Motochika, where if I didn't keep my distance from him, I was going to be screwed. I guess his weapon is supposed to be some kind of whip, some kind of multi-headed whip or something like that, but let's face it, it just looks like a mop. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. We're just effortlessly gunning down this poor defenseless enemy. Ah, that was a pretty awesome finish. I'm pretty happy with that. The guy with the flag still going.